Think I'm recording. Hey y'all. It's been a while. It's been a very long time since I honestly played any video game at all. I don't want to dox my college, but I'm currently on spring break and I for once gave myself a lot of free time because I feel like I've forgotten what it's like to not have structure in my day, to not have the pressure to be somewhere. And I think I've talked previously about how you do need some level of stress to operate, but I don't think it's healthy. I Past 2 weeks have been rough. I had midterms along with like a lot of club activity. I think I hit two 40-hour days in those weeks. I think I averaged maybe 5 hours of sleep over those 2 weeks, and I didn't even get to enjoy my weekends. Like my weekends are a really important part of my time. Like I want my own Saturday, and I also want my Sunday to be like catch up day. So I don't subscribe to the catch up on sleep mentality. Like I still wake up hopefully the same time every day, even if I end up going back to bed. It's just about keeping that rhythm. But like your health isn't something which you can just make up. It's something which happens every single day. And now I'm on break. And I just let all of that fade away, which is a weird sensation, I guess. But I feel like I need it. I feel like I've put my body through the ringer. There was a point where I could feel my heart palpitating. I could feel myself working and winding down. I just felt tired all the time. And even when it was time to wind down, I ended up just like doing some more work because like I couldn't sleep knowing that there was stuff that still needed to be done. I just couldn't leave it till the next day. And I think that was a very dangerous mentality that I developed over the course of the semester, in which, to mind you, is a semester where my grades have been slipping. I'm like, I'm not failing. I'm failing one class. But I'm not failing. And I never understood how people could just fail classes in college until I started meeting people who had to work to stay in college, who had like families to take care of. Like I know people who are like in their mid 50s still come to college trying to make a better lives for themselves. But they had to work hard to get to this point to even be able to afford college, and that's kind of crazy to me. Because that's something which I've never had to experience or deal with, and I make up for it by trying to make things easier for the communities that I'm involved in. And I start to understand how they got the pressure and the difficulty of the life that they lead in order to get to that point. And it was because I'm starting to live their lives, even if it's without the financial burden, it is with the time commitment burden and that I put on myself. And in this process, I have lost a sense of myself in the way that I thought that I was a go-getter. You know, I thought it was just like always get the highest position possible, do the most, become the most diligent person, always constant self improvement, put that pressure on yourself, get those perfect grades, do everything, right? And if the grades aren't in order, then you need to start restructuring your priorities. But that just wasn't the case. I let myself slip from the caliber. I stopped caring if I got the straight A's. And even though it still hurts me when I see the grade come back and it's so low, it's something that was so estranged to me in high school. Now I don't even blink at it. And that's weird. I've been struggling to process what it's like to be a hypocrite, so to speak. I used to get really bothered when somebody would list a pro and then a con that was a reverse of the pro, and I was just like, why did you need to specify both? I thought that it was implied, but that's not necessarily true, right? It's it's the idea that how come every time there's a guy who beats a woman, he has a woman to beat, and he didn't get her because he was beating the woman. He happened to get a woman and then just happened to beat her. you know. It doesn't mean because you beat women, you get women. And stuff like that, which I now process differently. I see it not as something that's redundant, but as something that's a necessary specification to make. And I've become more patient, maybe, more tolerant of people and what they say because I had to experience what it was like to be someone who was misunderstood. And you had like this wake up call where no matter how explicitly, no matter how clearly I said something, people can see it within their own light and I can't control their own interpretations. Something that has grown very readily apparent to me in doing research on people, right? Cognitive behavioral study is that the human experience, your condition, your senses, the way that you see the world is a variable in which we cannot control. And that is always going to be a source of bias in any experiment you do regarding humanity because we do not have a full grasp on what it means to be conscious, what it means to experience the world, what it means to be alive. And a really important part of like programming is you turn a problem into something a computer can understand. You find usually a recursive case, like how small can we break down the problem? And you can break down the humanity or the living problem down to single cells, right? Like that's the basic building block of life, as simple as it can be. And that still isn't a meaningful indicator of what it means to be alive, of what living really is. And I think that's difficult to process. But looping back to communication, it's less of a I want to find people who I guess I should say are really good at communicating in an empirical sense, and more I want to find people that will see or hear the words that I say and assume the best of them, right? They would assume good of my intentions, that don't want to pick me apart for everything that I'm wrong. I also am in very beneficial spaces where the people that you talk to are actively trying to help you become better at articulating your ideas and your point. I'm a teacher, I'm a researcher, I'm like, I need clear specifications and expected outputs and success metrics, like all of that's great. And this is stuff that I deem to be important. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But in casual settings, I don't want to have that pressure always on me to be a really good communicator in the empirical sense. I want people with similar life experiences who have similar meanings to words attached to their experiences, right? Because language is just something that we all agree upon. Like, you point at a flower, you say it's blue. I don't know if your blue looks like my blue, but we all agree that it's blue. I want people who agree on what the terms mean, and that when I string them together, they understand what I'm trying to say. And this bothered me for a very long time because I was very much under the impression that you get into a relationship with someone, not necessarily romantically, but in general, and you can just become a better communicator, that it was a skill, that you could just make yourself more understood, that people could compromise and work together. And that's honestly just not the case anymore with people. Like, we've grown impatient. We don't have the capacity to want to work on relationships in that sense of understanding. People just want someone out of the box that's ready and just gets them. And I didn't understand that until I met someone that I had to work for. And no matter how much I worked on it, they just didn't want to. And maybe I'm just missing someone who has that same mentality towards relationships. But, you know, people have been thinking about it. What's more important, being loved or being understood? And it's kind of annoying because love is a social construct, right? There's no empirical like a pathway in your brain or some certain parts of your brain that light up when you experience love. Like, it's different from person to person, which means there's different forms of love that we can experience as far as we can tell empirically. And the definition of love keeps fluctuating from generation to generation as we compare it to different things, as we ground it to different things, as our values change, right? Like, it used to just be like, I get the house and the kids and I love my family and I provide for them unconditionally. And then like we have cases like adoption and friends and family, and even from city to city people use the word love differently, and some people believe in platonic love and some people don't. And some people believe that you could truly love someone that you're not related to in a romantic sense. Other people don't believe in like foster families, and it's, if there's something which is a seemingly so fundamental to human nature, but it varies so differently from human to human. And I'm like, can we really say that's an empirical measure? Because you can tell when someone's mad. People may express it differently, but anger, frustration, those are annoyance. Those are very common feelings that people have. And so is happiness and sadness and all of these ranges of things in which it's much rarer to find a discrepancy of people who don't experience it. And yet we still have this just weird sentiment on love. And I don't think that's something that, wow, I could just like understand, I guess. I don't think it's something that I've kind of just like been okay with or happy with. It's a dynamic state, right? It's always fluctuating. The definition changes. So it's difficult to unpack, I guess I should say. I'm having trouble articulating what I really mean by describing love in this way, besides I'm questioning what it truly means, right? What it means to love something. I thought that I loved soccer growing up, but really I kind of just like being in shape. I like the structure. It took one coach to take away my joy of soccer away from me. Like I just like the circumstances that I was in. You know, I like the people that I was around. Oh my goodness. I thought I loved sports, you know? And I still do, but honestly, I like being in shape more. I like spending time with people and spending time in the sports. It's less about the competition for me, even if winning feels good. I thought I loved CS, and every time I take time away from it, I realize that I still do, but I don't like it for the academia so much, or really the status. I like it for the culture that it's in, the hustle culture, the people that you meet that really like solving problems, the way that you can break down the world into something that a computer can understand, and it's very consistent every single time. I like that. I like solving problems in a way that the solution is consistent, and knowing that the solution can be as good as it gets sometimes, right? Or at least that there's an acceptable list of trade-offs that you made, and that you made your decisions with intention. Like that's what I like about CS. That's what I would say that I love about it. But I don't love every aspect of it. I don't like the coursework. Well, not all of the coursework. I don't like the way that it drains and tolls on my health. I don't like the way that I'm sitting in front of a computer for like 14 hours a day. So sometimes, honestly, or that I have to study so much, or that I always feel like I'm behind, and that there's this constant pressure and tension to be on my phone and to always be up to what's the latest in the news and adapting to the latest AI tools. Like there's just pressure and tension within this industry, and it's constant work, honestly. And the only way for you to have that balance in your life is to give up, working on someone who's going to work harder than you. Oh my goodness. So that's what I mean. And I love my family. I love them unconditionally. And that's the purest form of love that I've ever experienced. And that doesn't mean I love every single little thing about them. That just means that as people, I, do anything for them. And they're like your favorite candy. I'd open that box again and again and again, and I want to spend more time with them. And I don't want them to go anywhere. They're such an integral part of my life that I couldn't imagine a life without them. And these are just qualities, right? It's just a feeling at this point for me. And I struggle to imagine what it would be like to feel this way about anyone else outside of my family, because they're the only people who have that in computer science, and my love of being in shape is the only thing that's consistent, that feels within my control, that I feel like is a constant in my life. And as much as I feel very blessed to have experienced what familial love, I believe a lot of people think it should be, I just can't extrapolate that to a human. That's not in my family, because even people within my family, I would say that I don't love, because I just don't respect them as people. I or I don't feel like they do for me. I don't feel like they've treated me as a human being. I don't feel like there's somebody who's I would protect and respect unconditionally. Like the blood isn't meaningful enough for me to say that I love them. Of course, I care for them, but to say I love them the same way that I love my immediate family, like it's a stretch. And if it's not the blood that inspires this familial love alone, then what is it? And honestly, it felt like the upbringing, it felt like the care, the investment that they put into us, and it's starting to sound transactional. It's kind of because it is. Like it's the time they put in, it's a consistent effort, it's the way that whenever you say I'm like you make a mistake, they offer to say, hey, I'll take care of this for you. And it's always been acts of service. And I would do it back. And it's that mutualism, it's that effort, it's that consistency, it's that belief that these people will support you no matter what, that makes it really easy to invest into them. You know? I don't know if this is like insightful, but those have been my thoughts about love, is that it's something that's consistent, that's everlasting. It's something that I can always invest into, and that makes me feel secure, right? It's that maybe that anxious attachment that people refer to. I like things that are consistent or feel consistent, and I like people who I feel like I can invest into and that are receptive to me as an individual and my way of expressing myself. And I don't think that's what a lot of people would call love. I don't know if I should have that security with someone that you're trying to fall in love with. I don't see it as this really intense feeling. I see it as something that's honestly pretty dull and mundane, and that's just like enjoying your time with them and wanting to spend more time with them. And honestly, like, you want to go out to eat, and it's not just like, oh, I want to go out to eat. It's I want to go out to eat and it'd be better with these people around me. So I'm slowly growing on the idea of friends in the familial sense, but I really just don't have a good grasp on this romantic love. Dude, can't remember the last time I had a crush, man. it's been maybe difficult, busy times. So that's what's been new with me, honestly. I can't tell if I'm burnt out. I definitely was feeling burnt out some time ago, and now I get the break and I finally get to touch video games again, and it's good. I missed the gaming, frankly. I thought I loved the gaming, and then a lot of people say like if you love something you do anything for it, and I just like play Clash Royale or like Tetris or chess on my phone. I just don't not committed to coming back and playing the PC games like I used to. I just sleep. Like I love sleep, you know. Like, you just need it. Like you really love it and you need it. So yeah. Life's been changing, and I say that I love content creation. Is love defined by how frequently you do it? Because I am really inconsistent about posting. I've been posting a lot on my Instagram, actually. I plan to never link it ever on this channel, but yeah, the content creation is nice, I'm not gonna lie. And I plan to be posting a little bit over spring break on this channel. The weekly rant is just not happening. I don't think it's ever gonna happen while I'm in college. You could say that I could be more disciplined and put more work in, but it's that pressure of computer science where you feel like there's always more that you can be doing. I definitely have midterms again after this break. Like they kind of start in March and they just never end. And that pressure doesn't allow me to just fully dive into something like the content creation without giving up on the computer science. And I see a lot of people like making the content like for computer science, and I think that's fun. I think that's something that I'd want to do down the line, like once I felt more established, in which that's the question, like, will I ever? But yeah, it's kind of just a TBD. We'll see where life goes, where life takes me. And besides that, I'm still alive, trying to unsubscribe to the hustle culture as much. I think the not sleeping is pretty bad. The going out every single weekend and the networking and the conferences and feeling the pressure to go to every single professional opportunity event is bad. But through all this effort, like you finally feel like a little stagnated, where I'm like, you're hearing the advice and it feels like you've heard it before, and you have an actionable set of plans that feels pretty good, and you also have a professional network of people that are all in the same boat as you, and they're supporting you, and I feel that that's a really good support, and I can finally go to my family and say like, hey, I want to get a job, like let's work on this, you know. And this is progress that I just couldn't imagine feeling like as of literally last year, when I was still just like trying to get straight A's and I was just locked in on my coursework and whatnot. So yeah. So that's what's new. It's honestly just an always constant ongoing battle between like my health and my interests, my passions, and I'm trying to get more overlap between them. But it's just a part of being in college, where like, or honestly anything that you do, job, research, extracurriculars, where I'm like, you're not gonna love every single part of it, you know. You're not gonna love every aching moment, but overall, I'm like, would I ever want to change what I do? Do I have any regrets? No. Would I want to be anywhere else? No. And the other part is like, you have to rediscover your whys. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I in computer science in particular? Why am I spending all these times with friends and going out and being social when I could just lock myself in my room and like get the work done that I think is impactful? And well, and the answer is I'm human, and I we're inherently social creatures, and I think the best way to approach life is with balance. And I never want to look back on my life and being like, I deliberately messed everything up and invested everything into one spot, and now I'm a human that is missing a lot of experiences. I want to enjoy this particular time, this moment in my life in which I'm never gonna get back. And living with no regrets is doing what I think is best for me at every single step of the way. And it may not be, you know, like I don't think like the going out might be the best thing for me. I don't think the skipping meals and the not sleeping is the best thing for me, but I'm doing what makes me passionate, what's exciting, what gives me enjoyment in the moment. And I'll always have more time to learn and grow as an individual and try to discover myself and love. And it's experience first, right? I'm like, you just honestly, you just don't know until you know. So I've been telling like two banger quotes recently. I think my favorite is that as long as you have tomorrow, there is no effort that is wasted. You know? It's no matter where you go, right? You don't know if it's gonna be good or bad for you. You just have to try. And it's just encouraged to keep trying and to believe that these experiences, they will develop you and they will help you as an individual. Oh, I forgot the other quote. It'll come back to me one day. So it's all just lies. It's my one banger quote. Yeah. But oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's about it for me. I think that was like a bunch of preludes to all the stuff that I wanted to talk about over spring break. I very much value being experienced first. I think it's a good thing to to figure out if you actually like doing something. You honestly just have to try. Put away the coding tutorial, just build something. Just go out, just talk to people. And yeah. I want to get to 8:50 before I turn off the recording. Boom. Boom. Alright. I think I'll yap a bit more soon, but bye.